Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Frankly speaking.
My name is Deanne.
I forget to say frankly speaking.
Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Frankly speaking.
My name is Deanne.
My name is Frank.
My name is Golda.
And I know we're in the cuffing season. Everyone's trying to get a boo. Everyone's trying to get into situationships. But some of us are actually looking for committed relationships. So our discussion today is about some of the factors that we should all analyze before getting into a relationship. So what is that first thing, Golda?
So today we want to talk about self-love.
That's a good one.
Before we get into that, we want to talk about what is self, what is love, and what is self-love, right? So the self, this is the concept of the idea of who you are. So what you value, what you believe in, your thoughts, your actions, your feelings, they all make the self, right? Your character, these are what defines you, right? And then we go into love, and Frank, what is love?
What is love, Frank?
Well, this question is very hard, but how I take love is it's just a heavy trait to carry, man. You know, before you carry that thing, you have to make sure you're very strong, because if you're not strong, you're gonna just for yourself, you know. So this is how I take love, and there's a lot of definition of love, but the way I take it is just like very heavy stuff, you know. So Diane, I'm pretty sure you can help me with this. I know we have been loved, you know. We loved, and you know. So how I take it means kind of like it's very heavy, you know. Love, it hurts. There's a lot of stuff for love, you know. So yeah, how do you think?
Yeah, like I'm just like even thinking. I think people would ask me, Dan, have you ever been in love before? Romantically, I would say no, but obviously I love Frank, I love Golda, I love my family. And why I said love is subjective, because how we experience love can, you know, affect how we define love, right? If someone is coming from a place of like neglect and abuse in an abusive home, they might see love as love hurts, you know. So for someone can come from a place obviously of a nice upbringing, their parents love them, and they have that definition of love. For me, I guess love is just to point it all down, is just how God loves his children, like just the selflessness to, you know, to give someone else, to show that you actually care for someone else. I think that's how you can define love. I know the Bible says love is patient, love is kind. There's so many lists of things.
It's so many, and then we never finish to find the love though.
No.
We'll never keep searching, but you know, what we know is we know.
Yeah, exactly. And like love is, some people think it's a feeling, others think it's more than a feeling, right? But like Deanne was saying, it's that unconditional, you know, love is what we're talking about. The person who can lay down their life for somebody else, you know, the person that can sacrifice for somebody else, or the when you say unconditional or love, this is the love that doesn't fade or doesn't fail. So I don't love you today, and tomorrow I say I don't love you anymore, right?
So that is not love. If you have that love that just put in your mind, that is not love. Love is like you have to stand for that person, be there for that person, care, you know. So that's you're gonna say you have the love. But if someone just do a small mistake and you say, oh, you hate him, then you never love that person, you know. So
and the ultimate love was what Jesus did for us on the cross, right? As we were sinners, he came and he died for us. Who does that for anybody?
No one ever did that. I search everywhere, no one ever did that, to die for someone, you know. But him, we just decide to die for our sins. But we always just thank him for that, you know. Every single day we should always keep that in our minds.
Exactly. Right. And so then if we go into self-love, so we've defined self, we've defined love, but this is kind of like our subjective or our own personal kind of definition, and so that's why you guys were open to hearing your perspective as well. So we're gonna go into self-love, and the way that I see self-love is having a high regard for yourself, for your well-being, for your happiness, right? Taking care of your own needs, and not sacrificing to the point where you've lost everything, because you need yourself to be able to give to people. So you can't give what you don't have, right? So self-love is not settling for less than you deserve, right? Exactly. So what do you guys think about that? Like self-love in terms of, our question today was, before getting into a relationship, what are some of the factors we need to consider? And we're saying, let's start with self-love. So what are you guys thinking about? How can this self-love piece add or make a relationship? Like, what is that?
Like just what you summed up of, like, you can't give what you don't have, right? So I know we live in a world that's very individualistic. Like in times here in Canada, people like to just be with themselves or to themselves. But the whole purpose of God creating us here on earth is just to love one another, and just for us to express that love that we receive from Him. So what Golda was saying, that having a high guard for yourself, it's not to say that you're selfish. You know, although some people may say like, oh, you can't love yourself too much, all those things, but you have to take in consideration that you do have to love yourself first, because if not, like, I know there's unfortunate that cases that some children are raised up in a family that their parents don't love them. So they have to learn to love themselves in order for them to actually love those around them. So yeah, like what I said, that doesn't mean that you are so selfish, but you actually have to take care of yourself in order for God to use you to show that love to everyone else.
So I think like what you say, self-love, how can I say this? It's very hard to say. Like it's very hard to. But self-love is like came from yourself first. You know, like yourself. You have to know. Like just look at yourself. Like you know, there's a lot. Like I always see. Like I'm gonna go from the guys. You know, if you're going through a lot, you know, you don't love yourself. You know, you can maybe decide to do some crazy stuff, which, you know, your body doesn't want to do that, but you're just going that because you're going through a lot. So self-love, just trying to think before you do that thing. It's just your choice, you know. Choose, like, you know what, if I'm doing this, am I hitting my body, or is it fine for my health? You know, so I'm not saying all the guys they do that, but you know, I'm a guy. You know, that's why I just think, because I see this from guys, you know, having friends, we're going through a lot of stuff, but they act like they don't love themselves. You can see the guy just do some crazy stuff because of, you know, he doesn't love himself. So you need to love yourself first, you know. Self-love is very, very important, you know. Self-love is saying you to do, like, you can, if you really love yourself, that's how, like, it's teaching you how you're gonna love others. But if you don't really love yourself, then you're not gonna love others too.
That's even why, even like the Bible, you know, the commandment says God was like, love one another as
you love yourself.
But before that, it was love one another. How was it?
Well, it first says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and then love your neighbor as
yourself. Exactly. So there was a switch to that, because what Frank was saying, that some people may not know how to love themselves. So you have to learn from the source. So God, as we mentioned, like, God is the ultimate source. He is love. He doesn't have love. He is love. So when you learn from that, and when you take from that love, you're able to then multiply to other people.
It's gonna be very easy to share.
Very easy.
So that's why I take self-love.
Because like self-love, so the love you have for yourself, it's kind of the measure that's what measures how much you give back, or how much you allow to be given to you, right? So if I love myself and I take care of myself, when I go into a relationship, I know what I need to get back from that relationship. So if I do self-care and I take care of myself, and I'm in a relationship with somebody who is maybe not giving that back, right? Doesn't show that care, or doesn't, do that unconditional love that we've talked about. It's not patient, it's not kind, it's not gentle. Because I know that love for myself, the red flags are there. I'm gonna know that this is not what I want to pursue, because it's not the love that I have for myself, right? So self-love is that lens that we look in to sometimes choose our partners, or sometimes decide that I want to continue with this person or not.
I think self-love is just a choice, it's gonna, like, if you really love yourself, that self-love is gonna show, like, you know what, you have like your right to choose what you want to do, because if you don't love yourself, someone is like, oh man, can you just walk in this water? You don't know what is in that water. You just walk like that. That means you don't love yourself. So no wonder it's like it's just like I'm gonna just like a choice, yourself. You just make that thing.
But what do you think we can encourage? Because obviously, like, not everything is like roses and peaches. Some of us may have not been fortunate to have been brought up in a loving home to see that love, and for us to just appreciate who we are. Some people, they have gone through horrible things, so how can they learn to love themselves? How can they overcome the insecurities, the blame, the rejection that they must have faced throughout their life? How can they overcome those obstacles, and for them to actually love themselves? And then that way they can be able to have fruitful relationship with other people. So what are some of the thoughts?
That one is kind of, it's what am I gonna say? It's like it's not easy. It's not very easy though, but it's just like you have to stand up yourself. My way, they always say, like, you have to pull up your socks yourself. So that means, like, you just have to make your decision yourself before you take any step. You need to take that, like, you need just a decision, like, you know what, if my parent, they do this, or my mom do this, yourself, you have to choose, like, do I have to choose what my parent did, or do I have to stand for myself? Because in the future you're gonna have a family, and then you don't want that thing to affect your family. So that's like, it's just make your own choice now, like, you know what, if you want to do good, go with that. But if you say, like, I'm gonna just follow what my parents do, then that's like just killing yourself, So just stand up yourself.
So you have a decision to take.
It's just a decision for yourself.
And then sometimes with that, like, if people who have traumatic past, it becomes hard to do that self-love, because number one, you don't even know what self-love is to even choose it, right? So sometimes it might help to, if you have trusted people in your life who talk to you about things, or if you're noticing that your relationships aren't working, then sometimes we might need therapy, or we might need a professional or somebody to kind of walk us through some of the past childhood experiences that needs to be healed in order for you to love yourself, right? So like Frank said, it's not easy. It's going to take processes, and it's going to take some time, but at the end of the day, when you're able to get to that point where you can choose, then you want to be able to choose and unlearn all the things you've learned in the past that are not helping, that are not serving you and serving your relationship, so that you can build a healthier one.
I think the key is, like, strong. If you're very strong with that kind of thing, it's gonna help you a lot. But if you're like, something came on you, you just let yourself, then you keep falling, just stand straight, like, stand tall.
And that's even one of the reasons why we even created this platform. So you might think to yourself, like, I don't have those kind of people in my life that I can open up. We have list all the social media that we are at. Feel free at any time to just send us a DM. We obviously have one faith, and we believe in one God, so we can just, commit your problems to God, and also just for you to know that we're here to listen. Exactly what Frank said, it's not going to be easy to unlearn habits that you have, that has been cemented over your life. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to just wake up one day.
It's just you guys, what we need to know is like it's just hard because life is not the way it is, you know. We can just start like how we grow and how we get here.
Yeah.
Because if you see how we started from the beginning and where you are right now, it's just you just have to be strong, you know. Because this is life, you know. Yeah.
So I mean, one more thing to just bring it home is that like we said, we want to empower future generations. So if I'm practicing self-love and Frank is practicing self-love and Deanne is practicing self-love and you're practicing self-love, then when we're all connected, we're all practicing self-love. So we try to, that'll help us kind of reduce some of these hurt and pain and stress and that we sometimes unconsciously inflict on others when we go into relationship, right? We bring our history and our baggage into relationships, and we don't purposely do that, but sometimes we hurt people in the process. But as we all kind of learn together and we work on ourselves and do the self-love, then when we're relating with other people, we're having effective, healthy relationships.
Which is true. So that's what we have. So you guys next week, I'm pretty sure we're gonna bring. Today we just had like a self-love and love. What is love? So it's not the end. No, this is the beginning. No, it's just the beginning. So we're still going in relationship, financial, you know, everything. You know. So you guys don't get tired. You know?
So leave your comments, subscribe, like, ask questions,
and
share your
please. Ideas. If you have any question, don't even hesitate yourself, whatever.
Call us, no.
Yeah. Just, save that question for us. Then the day we're gonna like Thursdays, we'll be throwing every Thursdays the videos. So anytime you just leave your thing, and then we can just talk about your topic, and you know. Here we just came to help one another. We don't come here like for what no.
No, we're not
we all like,
experts. We're not telling you what to do. We just want to have a conversation.
Yeah, just a conversation. So don't mind, like, don't just put in your head like, oh, what's going on. Just like here we want to help. Exactly. Just to help one another.
All right. Frankly speaking,
helping one another. See you guys.